Our Renia black leather dye does, well, exactly what the name describes. It dyes leather black. That is the point. We do not manufacture leather dye in any other shades, in any other colors, just black. It's a bit of a special product for us. It's not really our main business, but it's a nice addition to the other things that we do. So how does this work? In order to dye other colors of leather black, first of all, you have to make sure that the leather is fat-free, oil-free. So clean it with our acetone, or RNL, acetone-based thinner and cleaner. That's usually the best solution there. Then make sure that it's dust-free, make sure there's no dirt on there. The leather has to be open, so this cannot be used on synthetic leather, patent leather. Doesn't work that way. You need to use it on actual leather, real leather, the real material. And if the leather is coated in some way, that would have to be removed, but that's not really the application we'd have in mind for this anyway. So make sure that this can actually penetrate into the fiber and do its job there. This dyes leather all the way through. It's not a paint, it's a dye, it really goes in. It also helps if the leather is slightly moist, so touch it with a wet rag, with a sponge, just lightly, just give it a little bit of moisture, and this can go in much easier. Then make sure that you apply a sufficient amount of this, not too much, to dye the leather all the way through. You can apply it with a sponge, you can apply it with a brush, although make sure you don't get it on your fingers, because this also dyes skin very well and very deep. So it will basically grow out, you can't really wash it off. Once you've done that, once you've reached your desired shade of black, your desired, well, blackness in a way, make sure that the excess is polished out. So if you apply this to leather, if it's all the way black, you cannot wear those shoes right away. You need to make sure that the excess comes out, otherwise it will, as soon as it rains, for instance, or as soon as it touches anything, so you would get black stripes on your pants or anything else that touches it. You can polish it out with shoe polish, with any shoe cream. Polish until no more black comes out, because then all the excess dye has been drawn out of the leather. If it has taken the dye off the surface as well, you can then dye it again until you have reached the correct surface color and you don't have any more dye coming out of the material. This is also interesting as an edge color in leatherwork or jewel making. You can apply it to leather edges, dye them as well, but also there you need to make sure that you do not have too much in there, because the excess is going to be washed out and come out over time. So on, let's say a leather wallet or a bracelet or something, you don't want the edges giving off this to the skin of the user or to clothing. So make sure that you polish it out before you give it away, and maybe finish and seal on top of that. This can be used in conjunction with our finishing wax, although it's usually not necessary. The finishing wax already has a color in it, so you wouldn't need to dye the material before. This should not be used with a brush that contains metal if possible, or on anything that has metal. It will eat into that. It is a bit acidic, so metal can rust when exposed to this, so we only sell it in glass bottles and plastic bottles. That's the reason for that. If you keep these limitations in mind, and if you handle it very, very carefully, because as I said, it will turn skin black very quickly and be almost impossible to wash off. This can be an interesting product, but we do not offer it in other colors. As said before, there are other companies that do that, but we only have it in black.